means that is repetitive, that I have to work at the office or I have to work anything. So when it is repetitive, some people some people progress very fast and some people progressed very slow. What it means? It simply means that I have learned what to do in the office and I keep it repeating through the mind, not through the intellect. So it becomes more a habitual or an habitual, but that habit again triggers into some kind of mechanical routine, impulsive nature that does not change. But those who uses the intellect, they say, I have been doing it. Can I do it in a different way? Can I do it in a with more clarity? Can I suggest something to do it? This is sadhana. That is not sadhana. A guy asked me that I'm doing, can I do the japa om shanti? Can I reach to a higher state? I said yes, definitely. You can if you commit to the practice at least daily without fail for at least 2 to 3 years, you will reach to a higher state. Your commitment should be there. So the practice of the mantra, what happens? I'm doing it regularly, japa, japa, doing it without fail. So what will happen? What will happen? My intellect will start absorbing that mantra. One, it will purify the mind. How it purifies the mind? The mind will not dictate over the intellect because at present the mind is the master. If I am not doing a regular practice, it means mind is the master. Simple. Mind, you wake up in the morning like that young guy. Did I tell you about the dog? Ah. So this young guy, millionaire like you, he said, can I talk to you for 5 minutes? It's urgent. I said, yes, I'm free. No, I have a big problem. I said, what's the problem? I'm going on vacation and I have a small dog which I left at my parents' home. I said, then it's very good. No, my dog is sick and I'm very much concerned. I said, drop your vacation. Where is the problem? No, no, I'm very much concerned. I'm getting emotional. I have got lot of fears. I said, do you love your parents? Yes, I love my parents. Do you love your dog? Yes. Both are at the same place. So why you to worry? You go on vacation. Why you are going to destroy your vacation? No, no, but why I have all these problems? I said, now you have asked me a right question. That why I have a problem. Tell me in the first instant that why you want to have a dog. No, I bought a new house. That is the American style or European style also because after 18 years, people are pushed, these young people are pushed out of their parents' home that you start earning by house and live with someone. So he got a house, very good house, big house in Phoenix. Now he is living alone. So he has a dog. So he told me that, I want to, that is the topic of our lesson also. So I said, I am feeling alone. Okay. So your loneliness is filled by this small 5 pounds dog. Very good. So you already found the solution of your loneliness. No, no. So because I have yet to get married, and I find the loneliness. I said, why don't you kill the loneliness by practicing what the practices I have been giving you? Why don't you commit to the practice? You are committing to the dog, and you commit to anything outside, it will cause problem. Whether it's a dog, or you get married, or you have kids, you will definitely have those challenges. What should I do? I said, I told you that now you are looking for a dog as a means to fill your loneliness, and now you are going on a vacation alone. Why don't you take your doggos? Maybe it will help you. So I said, as long as your mind continues to be attached to anything, including the dog, it will definitely create conflict, emotional dependence, and unless you remove that emotional dependence, so it means that I should not have a dog. I said you should not have a dog to fill your loneliness. You should not have a dog to fill your loneliness. It's better to get married. So there is a lot of problem. I said, then leave the doggos. So what I was saying, that if I commit to any practice, as long as I'm committing with an attachment to any object in the world, it is going to cause problems sooner or later. Why? Because the world is made up of pain and pleasure, profit and loss, likes and dislikes, and the mind is going to be the master of you, and impulsive nature continues to manifest, it will create the problem sooner or later. He is the same guy I told you the story. He told that I gave that girl 200%. So I could analyze and observe that you are still continuing with the same problem, even after learning for years together. And you want to change. You are not changing. So there comes, our master says, commitment, consistency. So this is another guy. I said, you commit to the practice, don't consistent daily without fail, minimum for a period of 3 years, you leave me. It will work, but consistent. No, I'm not going to leave you. So what happens now? Understand the mechanic process, scientific process. That you are doing the practice today, you have done the practice every week, and one day your mind is impulsive, it reacted, but you have never left the practice, it calmed down you. So now the one part of the one layer of the mind is purified. So when you are doing it for 3 years, every day you find new situation in your life, new opportunities, new challenges, and you are not leaving the practice. What will happen? He asked me, now that mind which is impulsive, which is dictating the intellect, that impact will be minimized. Your intellect will start perceiving the subtle knowledge even in the Om Shanti. Then what will happen? I said, your intellect will become subtle. Then what? It will become subtler. So, at a very subtler level of the intellect, you have a clear perception. When you have a gross intellect, the mind is constantly putting its impulses, its impurities there. My daughter, this is what you have to do. Very gross perception. What is subtle perception? What the daughter is doing. Is there a better way to talk to her? It is a subtle perception. It comes out of the discernment and dispassion. I said you have not yet to understand what is discernment and dispassion. By consistency and regular practice, you will understand by yourself. This is what the discernment and dispassion is. That is why Patanjali says, Abhyas Vairagya Bhyam Tan Nirodha. What should we do? Patanjali was asked, he said, practice with awareness and attention, consistency. It should be done for a longer period. It should be done with daily. It should be done with consciously. Four aspects. Four aspects he discussed. And Abhyas Vairagya Bhyam. Vairagya, this question. So, consistent and committed practice results into awakening of discernment and dispassion into your mind, and that purifies the mind. So, that is why our master lays a very important step that even after listening and learning, I have to do practice consistently. The impurities gradually drops, intellect will shine with the knowledge, and it will have a subtler level of perception. If I develop a subtle perception, then only I'll be able to recognize and realize the real self. What is gross perception? Name and the form. What is gross perception? By likes and dislikes, by pain and pleasure, by duality and conflict. That is a gross perception, physical perception. So why it happens? Because the mind, impulsive nature of the mind has dictated over the intellect, and it follows what the mind says out of its impulses, impurity. Yes, I told him that, but I'll take you to the next step from here. What is the next step? You are constantly listening and learning and understanding these principles regularly for years and years. Your intellect will shine with the knowledge, and false eye will say you have already realized. That is one category of a seeker. So it means what? Without practice, impurities of the mind will not be removed. Or karma yoga, it's again the same practice. So there are two category of the seekers. One category of the seeker who listens and learns patiently, understands it intellectually, and also they are able to keep that knowledge during their wherever they live, but they are not able to fully apply the knowledge because they are not doing the practice consistently. It will not work. It will work, yes. So, the first category of the seekers, full of intellectual knowledge, full of understanding, they will find that their spirituality and the material life, they are separate. That is what you told me in the very beginning. You have told me. You remember. So I did not answer that question. I answered differently. But now I'm picking up. So I understood. So that is why I simply say MM. You sit the moment you wake up in the morning, you start with the Shanti mantra. Shanti mantra. You start with the Shanti mantra. So maybe any mantra. But let us take this mantra Om Sahana Bhavatu. May we both be blessed. So here it is between the teacher and the student. But if you don't practice it regularly, consistently, your intellect will not reveal the knowledge. Oh, I am with the daughter. Om Sahana Bhavatu. May we both be blessed. It is not only in this lesson, but it has to be applied. Oh, I'm with my kid. Why, mom? Oh, honey. Yes, may we both be blessed. So, what is happening? Your mind will drop the impulsive nature and the habitual responses and the reactive responses. It will, the knowledge will be applied through the intellect and the mind will be purified. That is why I say Shanti mantra. The first thing to do is you wake up in the morning, your mood is off, and you do the Shanti mantra. Your mood is good, you do the Shanti mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu. May we both enjoy the company of each other. No, my mind is already impulsive and it is reacting inside. How can I enjoy? So it is my fault. It is not the fault of others. After all, with whom I am living, who is near and dear to me, I am still tolerating. So now this tolerance should be converted into love and care. Why? Because I have to purify the mind. So, first thing, we are already doing it. So, first I say Shanti mantra. So, introduce the Shanti mantra even before doing the mantra meditation of Om Namah Shivaya. That is an acronym MM. After that, you listen and learn. Even you listen for half an hour or 1 hour if you have time. So, you listen patiently. You don't do any other thing while listening and learning. Check that if the mind demands a coffee while listening, no way. You see that, no, I have to listen and learn. Then take a coffee and come back, then do the contemplation and reflection on that. So, what is going to happen when you contemplate and reflect? Your mind will start understanding what is discernment and dispassion. After that, you practice, or before you have already done the practice. So I say practice and experience. I'm looking into the subtler level that how these processes, how the entire process of working, contemplation, reflection works. So you have started the practice and you experience the change. So you feel those changes. Let your intellect accept those changes. So when the intellect accepts those changes, you apply that wisdom in your daily life. So now you are bridging the gap between spirituality and the professional life or social life and family life. I gave you an example, Sahana Vavatu. Maybe both enjoy together, not only teacher and the seeker. Everywhere, if there is a second person, let me enjoy. My intellect should remind me, let me enjoy. Let me talk of the business, let me talk of the profession, what it takes, but let me enjoy. So I don't allow the mind to enter into any kind of impurity with the daughter or anyone. Sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karvavahe. Sahaviryam karvavahe. With a tremendous energy, that is one meaning. But another meaning is that now with higher level of awareness and attention, so that I don't allow the mind to get carried away by any response of the person. So I live in the state of discernment and dispassion. So let me participate in the discussion, talk, whatever is happening. Mantra. Sahaviryam karvavahe tejasvinavadhitamastu. Now you see that that's a beautiful way. May our intellect will be alert and attentive to grasp the knowledge. This is the meaning here in this journey. Daughter has done something, so your level of intellect is aware and alert, and you communicate from that higher level of the intellect so that your daughter can easily understand. And I already told you that I applied that method, practically applied. Daughter was saying that are you leaving so early? Why don't you live for six? Why don't you stay here for 6 months with me? I said I will stay. I agree with you. I accept your proposal. Wait, I will do that. It works. It works. And the last one is also very important. Ma vidvisha avahi. Let there be no envy and jealousy. So envy and jealousy is the impurity of the mind. So we have envy, jealousy, reaction, dislike with our own relations, with near and dear ones, with the stranger, with employees. No, I should get my mind. You have to follow the intellect. So you are asking your mind to release your emotional dependence based on impulses, likes and dislikes, to become free and follow the intellect. It gives you a sense of emotional freedom. And that emotional freedom, I'm just laying a foundation in a different way about these 40 steps. So once you have a sense of emotional freedom, then only the consistency and the regular practice will definitely bring the result. What I'm explaining, you have heard thousands of times. Surrender. This is the meaning of surrender. I explained you logic. Devoted. Surrender. That is the meaning of it. Goal of this surrender is to have a very subtle level of perception in the intellect, and there should be an emotional freedom. Once I have an emotional freedom, that emotion is redirected for the journey of the self discovery. Outer rituals. We got rid of those outer rituals in the modern age, but still I used to do it. With master, I used to see the master at 10 feet and I used to fall down. Yes, touching the feet. But the same master told me after 2 years, how long you are going to fall down like this? Can you move to the next step? Can you do it mentally and emotionally? You need not to show any gesture of the body. And that is how I learned. He said physical is good, action part is good, but you have already done it. You may continue to do it, but you change your mind. But if you are focused only on the physical part of bowing down to me, so it is purely habitual and it's mechanical. It will not change you. When I think, I remember that almost 2.5 or maybe 3 years passed. there was no change. My intellect says that I fall down, I bow down, but there is no change. And then he told me through his intuition, I didn't tell him, but he told me, that's why you're not changing. So from there, I had an understanding if there is a sense of emotional freedom due to the purity of the mind, and the intellect is becoming subtle by the consistent practice, it is just equal to surrender. It is equal to surrender. You will be able to recognize which vasana is taking over you every day and which vasana you have removed. You'll find in yourself because of the subtle perception. And that is what you see. All our principles of Eastern wisdom starts like any mathematical problem. 2 plus 2 is 4. Prove that 2 plus 2 is 4. So when you start proving it by the process through your intellect, you have the right knowledge. But if I don't know how to prove, so I continue to live in ignorance, then the mind creates its own perception, and then we. So that is what is all about these 40 steps. We have to understand these 40 steps with that level of understanding. And that is why Master says four connections are important. First is the preparatory phase. I have to look at myself. What I'm going to do is secondary. I have to observe. I have to help my mind to follow consistently, regularly, daily. So, in that process, which is also known as that I am a qualified seeker, I assess my readiness and I set the foundation. Let us translate into a modern approach. In modern coaching, the people say there is a work method I did not discuss, perhaps. So it's an acronym. V means visual, A means auditory, R means read and write, and K means kinesthetic. Visual. So we are listening and learning. Visual and auditory both are working together when we are listening and learning from the teacher. Visual mode and auditory. I always send the audio file. I said, this is done, and this is not my file, this is your file. Second is the read and write. So once I listen and learn, I read and write after contemplation and reflection in order to raise my level of discernment and dispassion. I don't have enough time. You do discernment and dispassion during the day on every activity. You take this discernment and dispassion into your daily life, into your business, into your profession, into your life. And the last one, kinesthetic, it seems to be a big word, but it simply means physical practice. Any practice which involves my body. Now, can you recognize that, why in our tradition we say you have to touch the feet of the master? So you bow down completely. You look at the physical from that perspective. So we know it already that it has an importance. People starts raising question why you should touch the feet of a teacher. No, You have to start from somewhere. You have not learnt any physical practice. So you see, the first category that I become a qualified seeker by these different tools. Same thing applies to the mantra. He was asking me, I said, Om Shanti is good. Any mantra will do. Thank God he did not ask me that if any other mantra is stronger, then you have a conflict in your mind. I should have given him a good lecture. So I asked him, do you believe? Yes, Om Shanti. I know that I am the peace. I will say that. Yes, I said that is good. So you see, even when you are doing the mantra practice, you fix the time, you sit down, you are repeating mentally. Consistent practice will definitely bring the result. So you are becoming a seeker and you are adding all the four elements. So he was asking, should I do it loudly? Whatever the way you feel. Or if I suggest you, you do 5 minutes loudly, you do 5 minutes of whispering, you do 5 minutes of mental, or maybe 10 or 15 minutes of mental. Oh, that is really good. I will do it. So that will help us. Now, another area that we should understand, and you will also realize in your daily life. I wake up in the morning, I didn't do any practice, that impulsive mind has some thoughts and agenda to do it, and then I'm engaged in the worldly affairs. I miss the practice, I lack awareness. So I'm not aware what is the goal of my life throughout the day. Second aspect is the goal of life should be there. That is another reason why our master says that we should be practicing daily. The moment you wake up in the morning, check your mind whether it's a bad morning, good morning, anything will do. You just sit and start with the Shanti mantra, then you do your japa meditation, and then you are ready to. And then you ask your mind what I have to do today. So what is going to happen after a few months and few weeks? Your mind will continue to remind you of the goal of life. Goal of life and goals in life. Goals in life is all karma yoga. I am doing all my activities to purify the mind. Let me give another example, simple way to explain. Business, I have to earn money, plan it, project it, work hard. But don't put pleasure or happiness in that project. Why? Happiness and pleasure is not outside. It is not in the wealth. It is not in the honey. Simple. So who does it? Intellect. If the mind puts that, now see that the mind puts the pleasure into it. Okay, then I will do this. I will deposit this much of deposit. I will have this much of interest. And now it starts thinking. It creates a very big circle around your intellect. And the purpose of karma yoga is defeated. You're doing the same thing. One master told me, and he made it very clear that when the question was that if I don't have a motivation to earn money to buy a home and to buy this and to have this and to have all kinds of pleasure, why should I earn money? So this master said, why don't you should have a motivation? I'm purifying the mind by this action. My mind will be calm today the whole day. My intention has changed. And don't I think that the calmness continues days after days, weeks after weeks, years after years, is it better than seeking any kind of pleasure? It appealed to me very much. For my state of the mind, it appealed to me. I said, you are right. So he said, you make a project, whatever you are doing, do the same way, change your attitude. So when you change your attitude, you know what is the goal of life is one, and all the goals in life is to purify them. Or purify the mind, or karma yoga, or nitya karma. That is the goal of the nitya karma. You have to change a bit. You have to move at a subtler level. So my object of the life is the real self. Object of life, object of knowledge, object of life. And what about the wealth and house and other means? Yes. Relations? Yes. They are there as a part of the goals in life. What is the result then? The result is the end of the suffering. I am thinking, speaking, and acting out of discernment and dispassion in the world all the time. I will have a problem? Throughout the day, I have a state of calmness. And in that state of the calmness, first time you will recognize that now there is no fatigue and tiredness. I will not, I'm not stretching further, but think of it. If you have that kind of a life that you are living daily, it will act upon consciously on RTT. Do you remember? RTT, Rati, Tripti, Tushti. Mind will say, I'm very happy and calm and relaxed. Why should I go after Rati? Why should I go after the Tripti? Tripti, food, seeking pleasure. Tushti, possessions. Are you happy? Yes, I'm relaxed. I'm not stretching there. They both are connected. I'm just giving you a hint. And the third point is the end of the suffering. I will start experiencing in my life that now in my relations, now whatever the actions that I'm doing, I'm I'm calm. I'm relaxed. I'm not able to exhaust my energy. And the same thing which I have been experiencing for so many years, I don't feel tired. Recently, what happened in the last week or so, no, about the last month, I don't feel like eating. I said, I still have energy. So I said, let me try. I reduced the food amount of the food, and it is working fine. It's working fine. But don't do it forcibly. But once we have that state, oh, I said just salad in the morning, and that is all. Now quinoa, only 1 teaspoon, not more than that. I was taking 5 or 6. So some of these changes comes at a later stage. That is the third. So once we are a qualified seeker, we are using the intellect, making the subtle intellect subtle. Intellect has seen, understood the goal of life is to find the real self and bring an end to the suffering. But it will not align with the goal of life unless this intellect becomes subtle. It will only become subtle if I purify the mind. Otherwise, it will continue. Today, it uses the intellect, and tomorrow it will be impulsive reactive. My whole practice has gone waste. It has to be consistent, regular. And in the middle, I explained to you the power of surrender is nothing but emotional freedom by making the mind subtle. So I have in subtle perception. How simple it is. You're looking at a beautiful girl, and the mind creates a false eye. First, the mind says, she is beautiful. Then the mind picks up its role of a thinker. It's beautiful. Mind picks the role of an enjoyer. How can I enjoy? By staring at her or hiding myself and looking at her. So I enjoy her and I become the doer. I left the karma yoga. That karma yoga comes from the thinker, doer, and the enjoyer in me. Now that thinker, doer, and the enjoyer is already enjoying something outside. I could not change my attitude. I don't have a certain level of perception. I did not use the intellect for discernment and dispassion. Are you getting it? I'm trying to explain you the entire process. It is very important. I have to apply
I,
that in my daily life.
I cannot get. Okay, I see the beautiful girl. Even
I
I
become
have
the
the.
I become the enjoyer. I
It,
I see the
and
beautiful girl, I appreciate it, and I move forward. That is the role of an intellect. But the role of a mind, this is a beautiful girl, I become the enjoyer. Now my mind keeps on thinking, it creates a strong likes, so I become the thinker, doer, and the enjoyer. So there are two parts. Either the false I and false I is guided by the intellect or the false I is guided by the mind.
and this process is catched my energy.
It will drain my energy. Sure. It may be forget about the girl, it may be pertaining to the food in the car in the house. I'm not going there, but you can easily understand RTT. Now my mind has left this goal. What is the goal of life is the real self. Now the goal of life are multifold. I continue to gather those impressions and it will create the vasana.
So it working same like in practice with mantra. So I bring my mind back to the.
Because I am saying Om Namah Shivaya, and that Shiva, to be attached to the Shiva is not creating a problem. To be attached to the Shiva is not creating a problem because intellectually I have to bring the Shiva inside my heart. Even if it is outside, we say it is all pervading and eternal. With that idea, with that thought in my mind, I am creating an image. Another way to understand, I know from where you are speaking. She is my mom. I love my mom. So when you express that love for the mom is totally different from the love for your wife or love for the daughter. That is what we are changing. So even my master used to say that someone asked him that why to Shiva, why Krishna? Because you are crazy, because your mind is full of impurities. because you cannot conceive any other lady as your mom or as your sister, even if you think it is a sister. Mind will change. So first you reach to that state. So we have a Shiva, we have a Krishna, we have God. You pick up any God. No, you don't want to pick up the God, pick up your mother, your sister. Meditate on that. Bring that thought image in your mind. So we impurities of the mind must drop. When it drops, the simultaneous awareness of the intellect starts getting subtler and subtler. So I have a subtle perception. What is that perception? Now I see any woman, young, old, anyone. I remove all the labels. I also, my intellect removes even the gender because I have a subtle perception. I have a subtle perception, intellect, with a discernment and dispassion. And when I have that subtle perception of discernment and dispassion, I become a great seeker. Think. So that is why we have so many gods. You see, even if you see Kali, goddess Kali, goddess Kali is almost naked. Understand, I think, in a different way, that will become very easy. My room is outside. My mind has an internal perception about this room. Internal perception, I have some thoughts, some feelings, some ideas about this room. Room continues to remain outside. I have an internal perception about this room, about you, about girl, about everyone. This internal perception causing the problem. The room is not causing the problem. Beautiful girl is not causing the problem. My perception that lives in my mind is causing the problem. Go a little deeper. We are working on the process of making the intellect subtle. Also, the intellect is saying, are my eyes, I have to control my eyes or these sense organ, or there is someone inside me. Now think. Senses do not say I am the seer. I am the perceiver. Senses do not say. So who says? Mind. How mind says? By the impurity. So my internal perception is distorted when it goes outside through the sense organs, causes the impurity based on the vasana, sankalpa, vikalpa, impure states of the mind that clouds my intellect and prevents the intellect to follow the path of viveka and vairagya and getting the emotional freedom. Did you get it?
Yeah, I understand the chain, steps by step.
You see, so and it demands a knowledge, it demands only awareness. Intellect says, are you aware why you are staring? Ah, because I enjoy. So intellect then asks, is the enjoyment outside? Because you are a seeker, you instantly recognize enjoyment is not outside, and still you are attracted. Why? Oh, because I like. Like has a projection. and that projection of pleasure there outside. Now I have understood. So intellect is repeating that understanding to the mind, you are purifying the mind. When? 24 by 7. Anytime when the opportunity comes. You wake up in the morning and many people say it's a bad morning. How come it's a bad morning? Put this statement to the intellect. Give this statement to the intellect. So then he said, what to do with the intellect? Let the intellect ask that it's a bad and it's plus morning. So what is bad about this morning? Did the sun rise in a different way? Or did another sun rises today in your room? Or it's a different? What is bad in the morning? It is your internal perception. Something going on in your mind. The sun is the same. Sunlight is the same. Very in-depth psychology. And the more you apply this way of analysis, you will see that the mind now calms down. It does not drain your energy. It does not leave you to any reaction. I will teach him a lesson. Why I will teach him a lesson? Pass this thought to the intellect. Ask question. What the heck? Why you are worried? Why you are reacting? You challenge the mind. You challenge the habit of the mind. You challenge the impulsive nature of the mind. Why? Again, same thing, to make the mind subtle, to get the emotional freedom so that we can redirect all our energy and resources for the self discovery, but at the same time, it is going to help my personal, professional, social, and family life also. I will not accumulate the sins now. I don't see any unfavorable situations in my life. I translate it in a very simple way. Any unfavorable situation at any point of time with any object or a person in any event is known as the sin. So I have to look back whether I am responsible for creating a sin or not. Look at this. So at a subtler level, so we have to apply this wisdom at all the time in our life. Whether you are going to watch the TV, just go there. There may be very subtler levels of impurities, even which appears it appears correct. I think it has been almost more than a year. Mind just acquires any habit. So I developed a habit to watch CNN for an hour. And when this habit of watching the CNN goes to the intellect, I said, why? What you are doing? It is left. Without any reaction. Without any reaction. So why I watch other these epic Mahabharata and Ramayana? Oh, that gives me a different perspective. How these different characters are thinking, speaking, and acting. It gives me a different perspective. So I watch them repeatedly to understand their subtle level of perception. So, so it's another way to purify the mind. So gradually, we once you start understanding that the intellect has become subtle, subtler, and subtler, your intellect will enter into all the areas of the impurities of the mind.
But what is available for me at my level? So regular practice of meditation and image of Shiva and thinking about aim of life during
aim
the
of
day.
life, and then applying that wisdom in your daily life before you are going into your professional life. Ask your intellect, ask your mind what I'm going to do there. So these are the 2 or 3 activities that I'm going to do there. So now you are very much clear these activities you have to do. You have to convert these actions into the karma yoga. You are going to talk to your daughter, and now you're sitting casually, and the daughter is talking something, invoke. Okay, internally. Oh, she's saying these things, how I have to respond. You need not to respond impulsively, habitually, with a kid. Oh, I'm going to sleep. Why you are going to sleep? You are tired. So that awareness and attention, by not only remembering the goal of life, will take you to another step. That how you are performing all your actions. Actions are threefold. Either you think inside, you speak, and you act. So you have 24 hours of the practice. Are you getting it? You have 24 hours of the practice.
Yeah, after my work when I come from the office at home.